Hello, people. What is going on? It's 7 o'clock. It is Monday. Tier list summer transfer window. To my right is Lucas. Down the bottom there is Jay. And over there is Jamie Talks. You know who he is on TikTok and social media. Right. Tier list time, Lucas. Hand it over to you, son. What you say?
All right. So you boys know the drill. We've done many of them. Fever, I don't think, has done many. We've done them before, but he says he does not know what to expect. So let me just bring this on in, bring us down here. So we're going to do our tier list for our summer transfers. I have made the tiers as the following: banging business, shrewd signing, it's all right, and not for me. I didn't want to make the last one too harsh because, let's be honest, the business window hasn't been all too bad, has it? So the goal of this, we're going to all try to come together in agreement and make a final tier list. Does that sound good with everyone?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Fever, you're going to be the tough cookie. I know you are.
Of course I am, mate. That's why I'm here.
All right. So I'll decide where we start first. I don't know if I want to start easy or difficult, but does anyone have a preference on who they'd like to start with?
I'll tell you what. Tell you the best way of doing it. Let Jay go first and pick a player, and then we'll work off of that player.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Let's start with what I think is bagging business. I think we can all agree Jean-Clair Todibo is an absolutely outrageous signing. There is no reason for that man to be stood there in a West Ham shirt. I don't know if everyone else is as hyped as I am for that signing. Like the outrageous moment that Fabrizio broke the news that Super Tim was on his jet and hijacking him was just some of the most fun that I've had over the course of 24 hours that is possible. And I'm sure we're all in for an amazing ride watching this lad in claret and blue, and he solves a massive problem for us. So to keep it short and sweet, I think that's pretty cut and dry as an absolutely outrageous deal.
For entertainment purposes, I'm going to put him in all right until we've all talked.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe someone lashes out.
Yeah. Jamie, what you saying on Todibo?
Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I said it on a video the other day. It's, if you would have said to me 10 years ago that we would be taking players on the brink of signing for some of the biggest teams in the world, Juventus and Barcelona, then I would have laughed in your face. And it's 2024 and we find ourselves doing that. Todibo is, for whatever reason, has chosen West Ham, whether that's finances couldn't be sorted from Juventus or whatever. He's come to West Ham and it's a top signing. He's got pedigree. He's played at the highest level. He's the kind of ball-playing, competent centre-back that Lopetegui will want on his side. And it's just another example of us in this window of going out in the transfer market and buying what we need, addressing weaknesses in the squad, addressing weaknesses in the starting lineup, and just going out there and getting the players and facilitating what Lopetegui needs. So for me, I couldn't agree more. It's banging business.
Yeah. I'll go next. I think it's absolutely super banging business. I think he's an absolute top-class player. I think he makes us 1,000 times better in defence. He's played for Barcelona. He's played for Nice. He's played for France. He's going to play for us. Short and sweet for me. Banging business. There you go. Lucas, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'll just make it an echo chamber. I think it's banging business as well, and in the style that it happened as well. Can't be mad at, really, can you? But yeah, he's exactly what we need. In my opinion, center half was always the biggest priority this window. I know a lot of people cried out for a big striker like Ivan Toney or someone else, and we did get a striker, but center half for me was just an absolute must. And the only thing that I'm skeptical about is more just his solidity as a defender. We all know what he can do with the ball. We all know how he can pass. He's a technical player. I just hope either one of him or Kilman can really be that solid center half because, to be honest, that's all we're used to, and I think that recipe has always worked good for us. But new coach, new tactics, maybe we really don't need that, but I'm excited for him. And, of course, Barcelona bought him. played very well at Nice, played for France. So I'll have to concur. Banging business for me.
Just on that as well, like for him as well, like I think coming to the Premier League will be there'll be motivations to play at a higher level because obviously he didn't make the Euro squad with France, and he'll be wanting to get back into that France national side. Obviously, he made his debut in 2023. He's got a couple of appearances, but was missed out on the biggest competition. So, you know, I imagine coming to West Ham and playing in the Premier League, he's got ambitions to get back into that side as well. So,
and you know what? I think it says a lot about him as well that he didn't stick at Nice, because he could have easily stayed and just played Europa League, which, again, I would say currently, obviously, a step up from us. But the fact that he's taken the risk to take the step up in league-wise says a lot about him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Jamie, you're up next, mate. Give us a player.
Oh, okay. Let's go with. I'll stick with centre backs. Let's go with Max Kilman. Where do I want to put Max
again,
Kilman?
for entertainment purposes, we'll put him in. It's all right, but you go first. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll put him in shrewd signing. Now, this isn't to slight the player at all, but okay, just to preface this, can you know theoretically could we have every player in banging business, or are we agreeing? Are we agreeing that there's got to be some players?
I feel like with us four, we could be happy chappies. We could be happy chappies and put everything as banging business. But
yeah, wrap it up there, lads.
I'm afraid.
All right. Okay. Well, I think he's an incredible signing. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's as good a signing as what Todibo is potentially.
Okay.
I think Max Kilman, you know, the player's strengths we all know about him. I'll put him in shrewd signing for myself personally. You know, again, just to reiterate what I said for Lopetegui and what he expects of him in centre backs, he needs competent ball carrying, ball playing centre backs, and Max Kilman is that in and out. He's one of the most technically brilliant centre backs in the Premier League from his background in playing international futsal and everything. It was a bit of a steep fee, don't get me wrong. 40 million euros is 40 million pounds, I should say. I've just got back from Germany. Ignore me. 40 million pounds is quite a steep fee for someone who's never played for England internationally. But you look at the stats of him at Wolves last year. He was top of the charts for many things. He's a Premier League captain, so we're buying another player who can start games and be a leader on the pitch and might be the unofficial captain in a way. Do you know what I mean? So I love it for so many reasons, and for me, it's just a shrewd signing.
I'll go next. I'm going to say it's all right for me. I'm not convinced. I'm going to be honest. If Lopetegui's not the manager of West Ham don't sign Max Kilman. As simple as that. It's because he fancies him and likes him and he's played with him before. Now, for me, £40 million there's a lot of pressure on Kilman's head on that. Yeah, if he was 30 million or 25 million, I don't think people would be worried as much. But for 40 million, it's a lot of dough for a player who, as Jamie just said, hasn't played for England, and it's been a sort of mid-table Wolves for the last consecutive amount of years. Nevertheless, he's exactly what we need, as in ball player and centre half. And if he can defend, if he can start defending, like levels can go up, then I would say, yeah, it's a shrewd signing. But I need to see him in the flesh and see him with a defensive partner who can defend properly. And maybe my opinion will change, but I'm going to say it's all right. I'm just going to say that. Lucas, I'll let you go next. Go on.
For me, it's hard because I don't blame some people for solely thinking about the value and the price of them, because I think that is important. I know a lot of people will always say, "Oh, it's not your money." Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not, but it's still important at the end of the day, because obviously we're no cash cow, unless it's this summer. It seems like we are, but most of the time we are not. So the money is important, even though it's not ours. But the fee is not for me. Obviously, I feel like 90% of people can agree with that. But the player in himself, I do like the player. Again, I'm going to give him time, but over preseason, he hasn't impressed me all that much. But to be fair to him, I think he has been our best center half, even though he hasn't been that impressive to me. So for me, and I do think he has good qualities, and I think the way Lopetegui wants to play, he does fit that. And I respect the desperation of getting exactly who you want. So for me, I would have to say it's all right. But I don't disagree with shrewd signing. I think the only thing that's keeping it away is the fee. If it was 30 or 35, I know it's not that big of a a differential, but I could probably slide myself to shrewd signing. But for me, I'd say it's all right.
Yeah. Jay, what you saying?
Yeah, I will agree, and I'll tell you what. I was chatting with a mate of mine who's a Wolves fan, and I was talking to him about this business, and he said when Kilman is partnered with a slightly more senior centre back or someone who's a bit of an enforcer, like a Craig Dawson, someone like that, he's a top quality player. So I agree. The fee is. It's always going to be a question mark over him.
Extortionate.
Yeah. I will say he will grow to become a shrewd signing. I think this is the move that will get him his England debut. I think he'll do really well alongside Jean-Clair Todibo. And I think as you said, we've only seen him in pre-season in games where we've defended pretty shambolically, but he's been playing with our third and fourth choice centre back. Now we've completed that back four. He's going to slot in perfectly, and hopefully he will grow from being it's all right to a shrewd signing come the end of the season. But I'll agree with you. I think it's all right for now.
All right, Jamie, I'm sorry. First L of the day. We're not piling on you.
I will say one thing though. That I've seen him play. I've been to 2 preseason games far this year. Obviously, I didn't see the American games. I only watched the streams. But Dagenham and Redbridge, I know you can't say much about the quality of the teams. I don't know if you can agree with me here, James. I know you were there as well. I saw multiple glimpses of what he can be as a centre back in terms of his first touch and his distribution and things like that. And I think he was great there. I thought on the weekend as well, he had moments where he was very good as well. So I'll hold the L with it's all right, but. You know, you talk about putting him next to a top quality centre back. He's playing next to Todibo.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a democracy here.
Yeah, I agree with what Jamie's saying. When I was there, I could see glimpses of him. It's just someone said it to me the other day. Funny enough, and I thought about it. And I thought, yeah, you got a point. Coming out of the back and on the ball, he's very good. But defensively, when people are running him, he's always backtracking. He's always backing up all the time. If he can improve his defensive awareness a bit more. With a better centre half next to him guiding him, then I'm going to be honest, it will be a shrewd signing because obviously it's going to benefit us from a defensive stance. Do you know what I'm saying?
And who knows, honestly, if he can turn into the more solid defender, right? And again, it's all preference. Like for me, my favorite center half pairings are either just 2 solid defenders like Zuma and Dawson, or 1-1, someone who kind of like a Garrett and Zuma, even though Garrett really hasn't panned out, but I like his profile. I like what he offers. But maybe for all we know, Kilman can turn into the more preferable one, and Todibo is the more technical advanced one. Who knows? Yeah. Fever, you want to go next, or you want me to pick?
I'm going to go for Somerville, mate.
Crysencio. Mate.
Let's go.
You're already going for one of the big hitters. Okay.
Well, we
entertainment purposes again. We'll put it out for me to start.
Well, I'll go first. Excellent signing. Exactly what we need. Left-sided, 22 years old, pace, scores goals, goals. This is a gem of a signing. For me, it's banging business for me. Yeah, to go and get rid of Said Benrahma and get rid of a few other players and bring in the best player in the Championship, it speaks volumes to West Ham. I'm surprised neither club come in for him. Not going to lie. And neither clubs were sort of determined to go and get him. But we did get him, so I'm going to be grateful for that. Make mine short and sweet. Banging business. Really good player. Seems like he seems a bit shy. I see him interact with Füllkrug on the first occasion, and he was one thing he said is he said to Füllkrug, "I will help you," and that stuck with me. And I'm like, yeah,
it's the little things.
Yeah, do me, so to speak. But yeah, Somerville for me, banging business. Jay, what you saying, mate?
Yeah, I'd agree with you, mate. I think history shows us that a player that wins Championship Player of the Season goes on and does brilliantly in the Premier League. 30 goal involvements last season. And the thing for me, there is always like that slight question mark as to whether they'll make the step into the Premier League, to kind of caveat my previous point. But looking at the short little cameo that he had at the weekend, his passing and moving is unbelievable. His vision was brilliant. He already looked like he's linking up with the other key players brilliantly already. Him and Kudus look very similar kind of player. And if you can have 2 versions of Mohamed Kudus on the pitch, my God, lads, we're cooking, aren't we?
I literally said the other day, I think he cuts in on his right just like Kudus does on his left, and it's a bit scary.
Yeah,
I like it.
Exactly. Yes. So, and when you consider he's now going to cause a massive selection headache as to how do we fit all these top quality attacking players in the same team, I think, and at the age of 23 as well. So he's got a high ceiling. He's going to keep improving. Unbelievable business from us.
What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, I agree with Jay. And I would also say, yeah, I don't think he does start. I think for me, he's a shrewd signing because I feel like he gives us dynamism from the bench and squad depth, something that we've obviously lacked in previous years. I think Somerville is very much a diamond in the rough at the moment. You know, there's a lot of rough edges to his games. You speak to any Leeds fans and they'll say that he had magic moments in him, but he also had the potential to go missing in games. And it'll be interesting to see that if he can then build upon his kind of reputation and the reason he's been voted, Championship Player of the Season, and then obviously replicate that form in the Premier League, because we've all seen, Championship players rip it up in the division. Said Benrahma being one, for example, and then come into the Premier League and it never really happening for him. I'm not saying he's going to be like Said Benrahma, but I'm just using that as a reference, of course. The reason it excites me, of course, is because he's got youth on his side. He's got all the kind of dynamic attributes that we want from a forward, and it's very similar to a Jared Bowen, who is always playing on the front foot. A Kudus is always playing on the front foot. Is going to go at players, try and get into one-on-one situations and beat defenders and isolate defenders and cut in and create goal-scoring opportunities. And saw that on the weekend, of course. But I just think for now it's a shrewd signing because we don't know how exactly he's going to perform and if he's even going to get into the starting 11, because I don't think you take Bowen or Kudus out at the moment. I think Füllkrug's going to be fighting to start, so I don't know where he sits otherwise,
Like you, Lucas.
I love how this is unfolding. This is why I do love a tier list with a panel. I agree with Jamie. If I had to pick, I would say a shrewd signing, but he's right on that border of banging business because, again, like Jay said, player of the year in the championship. He's won every award you can in there, and he is electric. And that's the best way to describe his play style, I think. Dynamic, electric, and let's be honest, we haven't had a pacey winger on the left who was of quality since Felipe Anderson, in my opinion. And he's going to bring exactly what we've been missing on the left for years and years. And but it is a bit tough to say banging business, obviously, because we don't know how he's going to make the jump. I think it's a bit different for different positions and different leagues as well. But I think he will make the jump, but we have to wait and see. Obviously, just like with any other player we do. But I think it's a bit tougher for a winger than a midfielder or a center half, fullback, yada, yada, yada. So for me, I would say shrewd signing, but I put it in the chat. I want to know what everyone else is saying. I am seeing a bit of both. I'm seeing excellent quality, which, maybe I should have made that a tier. But some are saying shrewd, some are saying banging.
Financially, it's banging business, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, 25 million. If we are bringing finances into it, then for the price of that, and for his sheer potential, the fact that he is so young and he can improve as a player and hope to get out those rough edges in his game, I think from that perspective, it's banging business. But yeah, it depends.
The chat's not helping out much. We're tied. We're tied there as well. We got two bangings and two shrewds.
One thing I will say is I think it's a banging business long term, but it's shrewd business short term, if that makes sense. But when I look at what Jamie said just a minute ago, I make him right. Is he going to come in and start every single game? I don't think so. But I think over a long period of time at West Ham, and this guy's tied down for 5 years, it could be a really good investment in down the road. Now, he's either going to go on and be a 50, 60, 70 million pound player, or he just keeps his value as what we're paid for him. So I don't think it's I'm going to change. I'm going to say shrewd. Just to
what? You're too late because Wasim, I think, has been the deciding vote, and I think we're going to have to put him in banging.
No, well, stop the host.
This will be the chat vote. Again, this is a democracy. Everyone's got their say here. So, Fever, you want to go, or you already went? So I go. I will go. Again, I want to leave a couple big hitters for last. So let's talk about Luis Guilherme. Fever, you start. What are we saying about Luis Guilherme?
I'm going to say it's all right for the fee. I think we will know more in years down the road. I don't think we know nothing as yet. I was there at Dagenham Redbridge. He looked good. He looks like a talent. I'm going to be honest. And I think there's 100% a player in there. Right, 100%. But for me, I don't think we can judge him right now. As in, is in these tiers. So I'm going to say it's all right business, and we'll know more in the years down the road, so to speak. Jamie, what are you saying on Guilherme?
Yeah, I make you right, mate. I mean, we've signed an 18-year-old kid, and yeah, I mean, he comes in from Palmeiras, who have obviously sold a couple of big hitters from their academy this year. And yeah, I was at the Dagenham and Ribbish game as well, and he looked positive. He looked like, again, the kind of forward that we want in terms of, always trying to get in one-on-one situations, take on players and blah, yada, yada, yada. All the things I said about the Somerville, they're similar profile players. But I agree, really. I think it's all right. It's quite a big fee. It's quite a big risk for someone who's 18 years old. When you look at, there's other 18-year-old kids in our academy that might not be getting a chance as a result and whatnot. Gideon Kadura, for example, is just, I believe, going out on loan today. And I do question whether Kadura could have done that role. We don't know the quality of the player. And I think it could, let's say he could go score a hat-trick against Aston Villa if he even plays on the weekend. And then we'll all be saying banging business. But for now, it's almost like an unknown entity. I don't really know what to expect from him. It's going to be, if Somerville, who's Championship Player of the Year, is a player with rough edges, an 18-year-old kid from Brazil is going to have a lot of rough edges, and he's going to have to learn how to play football in English. I say in an English way, in the English league under a Spanish coach. There's going to be a lot of things for him to learn and adapt to his game. And I can imagine that's going to take time. So I would say it's all right.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that. I really do. Go on, Jay.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think if the fee was a little bit lower, I'd be pushing for it to be a shrewd signing. But we don't know enough about him. The thing that sticks with me is what this signing actually represents. Not only did Tim come back with the goods on his big day out in Brazil, but we're kicking it with the big boys in that there were 3 players that left that Palmeiras academy. Yeah. One went to Madrid, one went to Chelsea, and one's come to us. And Madrid looked at Guilherme as well, and they already had Endrick wrapped up. So it's what it represents for me in the long term. We're not only buying players for now, but this guy in 2-3 years could be an absolute superstar. And my kind of pet hate that I'm seeing on Twitter at the moment is people saying, "What do you think of Guilherme?" Like, give the kid a chance. We're not going to know whether this is a good signing for 2 or 3 years yet. So for me, it's all right business. We've played a lot, but I trust in the recruitment process, in the scouting and the analysis department have seen this kid, know he's going to be a superstar. And in 2 to 3 years, we'll be saying this was incredible business. But for now, yeah, it's all right.
Lucas?
Yeah, it's a couple things for me. I'm towing between it's all right and a shrewd signing because I think for the fee we got him, say he doesn't play a single minute, right, and he wants to leave next season, I genuinely believe we could either get our money back or more on him, obviously, with his contract potential, the hype that was around him. But the other part of me for it's all right, 18 years old or however old he is, £20 million is steep for a signing like that because we don't know whether he's going to contribute or not, because at West Ham, £20 million can go a long way. That could get us a starting player or an impact sub. And I have faith, actually, that he's going to become a bit of an impact sub. And there's things I do like about him. I've seen someone in the chat, Troj, he's going to be a specimen with flair. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of most Brazilian players. Like, I love the standard, like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Paqueta, of course. But, like, the one thing I like about him is that he doesn't really use flair at all until he has to. Like, during preseason, we've seen him just go around players with ease, just very basic, which says a lot to me because he's got the Brazilian flair in his back pocket if he needs to use it. So I liked what I've seen so far, and I do think under a Spanish coach, he will develop a lot more skills, a lot more attention and retention of the ball. So for me, I would say it's a shrewd signing, but everyone's saying it's all right, so I will favor to you all. Man of honor.
One thing I will say on that is that you got to look at this. This is a long-term thing with him.
Yeah.
Like, it is. Do you know what I'm saying? He's come here, new country, new surroundings, new manager, new style, everything. And I think in a year's time, would he be ready to come in and start producing the goods? It might not even take a year. It could be a scenario this season where one of our right wingers get injured or suspended, and he gets the opportunity and he tears it up. We just don't know, and that's the thing with him. It's the unknown with him that is more than anything, and I think we'd all agree on that. But seeing him live, when me and Jamie did, he looks stocky, but he looks like he's got the goods. But it's going to take a while to get.
It's a tough one as well because we don't do business like this ever. Yeah. Normally, I would be the type. Well, actually, I think I did complain at the very start of it because again, we didn't really know what to expect, and that £20 million could have gone towards someone else. That could have gone towards Duran if we wanted him. That could have gone many avenues. But the idea of it, I do like. And like I said before, I was on the cusp of shrewd signing because I do believe if he doesn't even play and say he really wanted to leave next season, I think we'd make money off him. So, again, we've all deliberated to it's all right, and I don't necessarily disagree.
Jamie, pick a player, mate, for you.
We've got the big hitters left.
Oh, I'll go with arguably my favourite signing of the window. I'll go with Niclas Füllkrug.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Wes Foderingham, but
we could save Wes until last. Where do I start with Niclas Füllkrug? Banging business first and foremost. When the news kind of broke on Twitter, I know me and James have had a few back and forths about this already. There were lots of question marks around the player's age and whatnot, him being 31. I think when you look at the business of as a whole that the club have conducted this window, you know, we spent a lot of time talking about youth and we haven't even done all the signings yet. I think he's obviously our oldest signing, but I think what we actually have done is as a club, we've mixed the signing of youth and potential with genuine quality. And I think Niclas Füllkrug not only is a top quality striker, he's a top quality striker that will do well in a Lopetegui system. You know, Lopetegui is going to want his strikers to drop back into the space and get wingers and players that are playing in the half spaces into the game. And he'll be the guy that can come in, the ball stick to him like glue, and he's going to, you know, offload that ball. So for me, I think he's also going to get, you know, if he gets 10 goals a season as well for a 31-year-old, helps us get back into Europe. He's only here for a couple of years, 2-3 years, whatever. You know, I think it's a top signing and a lot of money for his age, but banging business for me.
I'll go next. I'm not. I ain't gonna say I'm convinced because I think there's obviously a player there. Yeah, that's the first thing. Is it? Am I shocked that West Ham have gone for a 31-year-old centre forward to be our new centre forward? A little bit, but I think if you're looking to fire us into European competition for next season, then it is banging business because you've got a player who's a natural born finisher, who scored goals in the Champions League, got to the Champions League final. The one thing I will say is I don't understand what the philosophy is on that. You chase Duran for so long, and then you just change complete tack and go from a 20-year-old up to a 31-year-old. But I'm going to say it's a shrewd signing. I think it's the right move for the right time, but I need to see him in action. Yeah, and I'm hoping that he can do it in the Prem. Like that's the only thing. I think the final thing is with us is these players look good everywhere else, but when they come to West Ham, they seem to fall off an edge of a cliff. Do you know what I mean? So I just hope he can do it for us in the shirt. But I'm going to say shrewd signing. Jay, what are you saying?
I'm going to agree with you. I was on the precipice of going for banging business. I think it's a shrewd signing for a couple of reasons. I think the age is always going to be a question mark, but to Jamie's point, like he is an absolutely outstanding player. 20 goal involvements last year in the Bundesliga. I think 6 in the Champions League as well, plus a couple of goals at the Euros. To the point on changing tact as well, I think what this deal also represents is getting somebody in who is a bona fide goal scorer. Like he just knows where the back of the net is. He will link up very, very well in progressive play and in build-up phases. But saving that money that we were going to spend on Duran, there's no coincidence that suddenly the Somerville deal got over the line as we got the Füllkrug deal over the line as well. So releasing those funds, going for a player whose attitude could be questionable, like considering the way he's conducted himself, trying to get his move to West Ham. I think to get someone who is a certified goal scorer and release the funds to get the Championship Player of the Season as well represents, that is the definition of a shrewd signing for me. That is just pivoting very, very quickly, getting a top quality player and allowing us to bring in someone else as well. So I call that a shrewd signing.
Jamie, you was going to say something previous before I went to Jay. What was you going to say, mate?
Oh, I've lost it.
I think you're saying about what I was saying.
It was. I've lost it.
Garrett in preseason.
It was basically what you said about like the change attack and
that was it. Obviously, Serhou Guirassy signed for Dortmund, I believe, like in the middle of July, and that meant Niclas Füllkrug was obviously available. So when top class players become available, you go out and get them. And again, just to build on Jay's point as well, I think when you look in the deal in isolation, it's probably a shrewd signing. I think when you look at it overall and kind of include all of our business, because you've got a mix of youth development, potential in all our players, and then you've also gone out there and signed like an actual top quality striker who's playing in Champions League final, firing his team to Champions League finals, I may add, against PSG, scoring big goals in the Euros. Like, come on, guys. How long have we needed a top striker for? We've gone out and signed one.
I will say one thing. When we spoke, when we was having backwards and forwards on Twitter, I mean, Jamie, it was before that the Somerville deal got over the line. Like, basically, we was looking at it and thinking, Füllkrug's coming in. And it just didn't make a lot of sense. But what Jay has also said is bringing Somerville and Füllkrug's better than just bringing Duran in on his own, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It makes West Ham stronger as a squad rather than as an individual. So, Lucas, what you saying?
I'll be honest. I'm in complete limbo with this one. And it's not Niclas Füllkrug really. It's not really his fault because I do like the player, right? But I'm in between banging business and it's all right. I like how Jay. I like how Jay described how he thinks it's shrewd. But for me, shrewd is a bit more monetary in my eyes. And for the price we pay, it's not a bad price for a 31-year-old. It's not the worst, but I couldn't put it there because of the value. But I really do think Füllkrug's going to be either an absolute revelation here, or he's going to be all right. But what Jamie said, I mean, mate, you might be able to convince anyone with that pitch. I'll be honest. You convinced me a bit. But I don't know. It is a bit of a toss of a coin for me because he did kind of throw a wrench in the haystack with some other things. Because let's be honest, we could have used that money for Duran. I think we are a bit fortunate we got Somerville over the line first because, again, those two, in terms of money, we could have gone Duran, right? But again, I agree with the red flags of Duran. It almost might be better if we got Füllkrug and Somerville opposed to Duran. So, I'm going to agree. I'm going to succumb to this. I'm going to keep it in banging business. I think he is going to turn out well. And what Jamie was saying, I do rate how he plays. He brings others into play. He can drop deep. And he kind of reminds me a bit of a Harry Kane or Ivan Toney. I'm not trying to compare him, but in terms of the way they play, I think those types of strikers, when you sign them at like 31, 32, age might not be a big deal because they already kind of like pace themselves throughout the game. They don't have to use a lot of energy until they have to. You know what I mean? Yeah.
One thing I'm going to say, I'm going to ask Jay and Jamie this question. Is what is the expectation with Füllkrug this year? Like, what's a good season for goals and assists ratio?
That's another thing as well. I'm banking on the fact that he's going to get 10 plus goal involvements. That's why I'm going to keep it in banging business. If he were to end up getting like 5 goals, 3 assists, did he live up to the fee?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I'm hopeful for banging business, so I'm gonna keep it.
What you saying on that, Jamie? Expectation for Füllkrug?
15 goal involvements, I would say. 15 to 20 goal involvements, I would say, is kind of what we expect of a striker like that. And what I may add is I think he'd get more goal involvements than what John Duran would in this West Ham side.
Shout.
Agreed.
So,
like it.
Yeah, I think Füllkrug would. Like you said it yourself. He got 20 goal involvements in 27 starts for Dortmund last year. He brings assists to the side as well as goal scoring, ability. So 15 to 20.
Jay, are you the same?
I would have said 10 to 15 as goals scored from him personally. I think the reason I say that is I'm kind of allowing about half a dozen to maybe 10 games for new signings to kind of bed into the team and for the team to gel. So expect everyone to start from a bit behind where perhaps they would if we had 100% fit and players who've been playing together for a while. So I think give him that time to bed in, and then once he beds in, expect him to start scoring goals. So I think 10 to 15 goals from him is what we can expect.
Jay, pick another.
I was going to say, I think because him and Antonio having such a great match against Celta Vigo really has thrown my head in limbo. But I do think they both will play. I think Füllkrug will play a bit more than Antonio, but I still think Antonio is going to do well. So for me, if he could get to the anywhere between 10 and 15 goal involvements, I'd be really happy with that. I'm not expecting the world of him.
He does that, mate.
I'm keeping my expectations low so I can't get hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sick of being hurt.
Yeah, we've seen too many strikers come to West Ham with a lot of hype and then do nothing. So
I know, mate. I know. Jay, pick a player for us, mate.
League One Wes.
Yes.
Give me League One Wes. Other than just being all-round banging business. Look, I mean, he does a job, doesn't he? To have a third-choice goalkeeper who's of Premier League quality, he's homegrown, he fixes a problem. You could say it's all right. You could say it's a shrewd signing somewhere around there. I'd say it's probably all right because we're probably not going to see him kick a ball for West Ham this season. So it does a job, and I'm happy with League One Wes.
I'll go next. For me, people say he's third choice, but I think he's going to be promoted to second choice from next season when Fabianski goes. Yeah. When I look at him, I'm like, when you've got Areola in goal, if we get an injury, you got League One Wes in goal. We might have Paolo Di Canio on the sidelines giving it the wave and getting off the fucking pitch. I know that, right? And hopefully that don't happen. But you know what? He's Premier League proven, isn't he? He played for Sheffield United last season. I'm going to say it's all right for me. Jamie, what are you saying, mate?
Yeah, exactly the same, mate. I think once Fabianski inevitably retires at the end of the season or leaves the club, I think he then gets promoted to second choice keeper unless the club then go out and sign someone else. So for me, I think it's all right. I think it's good business. You know, we probably won't see him kick a ball like you said, solves the whole the homegrown quota or adds to it, I should say. So yeah, it's all right. Good fee as well.
Yeah, Lucas.
I'll be honest. I'm just gonna cut the cord. It's not for me really, but I get why we signed him. Let's be honest. Like we said, Premier League proven to a point, homegrown quota. I just have a feeling that we could have maybe. And again, it was a free, but we all know probably the sign on was a good chunk, especially for him and his agent. But I don't know. I feel like we could have done maybe a bit more research, scouted a bit further for someone younger, maybe a bit more potential. So I don't know. It's a tough one for me because in terms of meeting the quota and all that, it is smart business. But League One West leaves a lot to be desired for me. And if he was my second choice keeper, I'll be honest, I'd be shitting myself a little bit.
Can I just say it's worth it for the moment if
yes.
But if they bring Paolo Di Canio back as a guest of honor at one of the games again this year, like that moment when he's
not seen
paraded
the
on the like the moment when Paolo comes out on the pitch and gets a rapturous applause, I just want to see him lock eyes with League One West. And then it will be like and have David Attenborough like commentator or something.
Mate, he's gonna have to watch from the tunnel like 4 hours.
That will be epic. Trust me. Imagine the interaction with them two like after all them years. Right, we're gonna move on to another player.
But this is the thing though. Should we leave not for me open or should we put someone in there? Because the last two are definitely not going to be in not for me. So should we be different and put it in there or realistic and leave it in it's all right?
Leave it in it's all right, Lucas. It's all right. Right, we'll move on to my pick, and which I think is probably the bargain of the window. Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Oh, thank God. I really wanted to.
I know you did.
I wanted to set the platform for my guy.
Yeah. I'll go first. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, for me, I think he's an absolute steal at £15 million. Like, we get this geezer over the line, job done. He's our right back for the foreseeable future for the next 5 years. Yeah. I think, I said it earlier on a stream, at Manchester United, players look bad, because of the surroundings and the circumstances of things. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not a bad player. For £15 million, I think he's massively underpriced. I know it's the final year of his contract and everything else, but for me, defending, that's what I want to see me right back do. I want me right back to be able to defend first, then attack later. So yeah, I'm going to say shrewd signing, but it could be banging business for me. It really could. But it's literally on the cusp of it. I think I'll go with shrewd signing for it because obviously we haven't seen him play, but I think he's a brilliant player. I really do. Jamie, what are you saying on Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah, when I said about Füllkrug being one of my favourite signings of the window, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, if we do get it over the line, will be my absolute top signing. I think that we've made this window. I think you look at the calibre of the player and what he can do defensively. Elephant in the room, obviously, he's arguably one of the best defensive, right backs in the world, let alone the Premier League. You can offer a hell of a lot defensively to a side that struggles defensively at times. Let's be honest, we've seen it in pre-season games as well. Can't read too much into it. And obviously last year we shipped too many goals, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going to stop a lot of goals going in on net, and that's the most important thing. I think also from again, not to get too in depth or anything like that, Lopetegui, you look at how he's going to want to build up play this year. It's going to be very dictated by the defense, the two ball playing centre backs as well as the wing backs. You can want an attacking wing back and a more defensive wing back. And you can see what he's doing with the acquisition of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going to be the guy to sit there on the right hand side and allow a Jared Bowen to be more free and more attacking on the right hand side. So it's banging business. You said 15 million, but I think there's like a £5.5 million loyalty bonus that Man United had to pay as well, or something like that. So really, we're getting him for cheap as chips. They paid 35 plus add-ons in 2019. Yeah. He's played nearly 200 games for Man United. Was probably one of their best players in the FA Cup final, last game of the season last year when they beat City. It's such an incredible signing. I'm rabbiting on, sorry guys, but I've seen him pocket so many of the world's best players over the last few years, and it's just it's another example of a great option to add to the squad, because Soufal isn't a bad player. He's not a bad player. Let's say end of the window, he's still at the football club. He's obviously going to be back up, but it's just another example. We've got squad depth now. We've got genuine quality all over the pitch. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka is obviously the new starting right back, but it just takes us up a level,
For me, everything you just said, I agree with. The only thing for me is just what he's not good at, in my opinion. But I do I've always been a big fan of, let's use right back, obviously, for example. I like having someone like Soufal, who I think is good going forward, but defensively, obviously, there are some issues he has. He's obviously getting older, so he's going to get done by pace. And he's already not the greatest one-on-one defender. He does work best kind of in a counter-attacking low block system. But then you got Wan-Bissaka, who is a world-class one-on-one defender. I think he's good going forward dribbling-wise, but everything else, I think, it's not for me. And what you said at the beginning, Fever, I don't know. I don't totally agree with he's the type of right back we need, because with the way Lopetegui plays, our fullbacks are going to have to have a bit of quality in the final third. And for me, I don't think Wan-Bissaka has that. But again, I like that he is an absolute menace, world-class one-on-one defender, and that does counter Soufal well, because there are going to be some matches where we absolutely need to defend brilliantly. Yeah. But then there's going to be some matches where our players in the final third need to be in the right position. They need to have some quality. So for me, I would put in shrewd signing, because I think it's either going to be really good or it might go to shit. But I just want to 15 million £15 you can't really turn your head at that.
I get what you're saying, but would you say that Emerson's got end product to a point with him on the left hand side? I wouldn't say Emerson's bombing down the wing, crossing balls in.
He can link up play, and he puts in a decent low cross.
Yeah, I suppose.
But in my opinion, Wan-Bissaka does not link up play that well. I think he's good going forward dribbling, but bombing forward, putting in any sort of cross or pass, I don't rate him that highly.
I can't wait for that ball to come in against Villa.
Yeah. Just to build on that though, Lopetegui hasn't signed him to do that. Typically, if you look at how Lopetegui lines his sides up, whether that's in Spanish youth teams, Real Madrid, Wolves, Sevilla, he plays with one attacking wing back and one more defensive-minded player, and Wan-Bissaka will be there to solidify the defense while Emerson is much more expansive on the left.
If that's the case, then I would absolutely love that, because like I said, I do. If I was building my own team, I do like the first teamer and the second stringer. I like them to be a bit different. I think it's not really the best thing for them to be the same unless you only have one way of playing. You know what I mean? And Lopetegui has gone on and said he wants to play 2-3 different types of ways. So, in my opinion, it is best to have someone like Soufal, who's great in the final third in terms of delivery and stuff like that, and then having Wan-Bissaka, who is a world-class one-on-one defender.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is it. I've been sitting here listening to all the points, and they're all really good points, really well made. But if we just make it really simple, we've paid just £15 million to sign a lad who pocketed Mbappe in the Champions League. To Jamie's point, this guy is the most brutal 1v1 defender that there is potentially in world football. And he's just joined West Ham United for a brilliant fee when we've just come off the back of conceding nearly 70 goals in the Premier League. And exactly what Jamie said, I've looked at some things that Lopetegui's done at previous clubs, and Wan-Bissaka will almost be able to tuck in when we're in attacking phases and sit in like a static back three and hold his position, where then the number 10 can be the person that goes and supports Bowen in the wide areas. So he allows us to play a much more fluid game, which is the way that Lopetegui likes to play. So I think for me, it's banging business, because this is the guy that I wanted. I've been saying for weeks how much I wanted Wan-Bissaka to join, even when he was linked with, where we were linked with Walker Peters from Saints and other random people as well that I can't even remember their names. This was the guy that I wanted. We've got him, and I'm absolutely buzzing to see him at West Ham.
So we've got 2 banging businesses and 2 shrewd signings. Again, I think the chat, what are we saying? Let me go through here a bit. No one's really said specifically what they want, but I'll leave you 3 to decide.
I'm going to say shrewd signing. I think banging business, you need to see him in action before anything. So,
but he does that already. I know I said I wasn't going to get involved, but he does have the CV. He really does.
Yeah, I know.
This Everyone is it. He's prem proven for me. This is the thing. He's a known quantity. We're not sitting here talking about an 18-year-old who's just come over. We're not talking about someone who's done it in Europe or not done it in the Prem. We know what we're going to get with him, and he's going to come in and he's going to fix a massive problem.
And to be fair, all the United supporters I know, one of my best friends supports United. He is absolutely gutted.
Yeah,
that Wan-Bissaka's going for that fee. Like he reckons like they should have tried to get 25 at least out of him. So,
what you're saying, shrewd or banging business?
I think everyone's feeling banging business. You know what? Let's keep the momentum going, keep the spirits high.
Yeah.
WJB.
Right, Rodriguez, Lucas, take it away.
Yes, my guy, Guido Rodriguez. Again, and I want to preface this. Everyone was saying he had an unbelievable match against Celta Vigo. I'm not going that far. I thought he was very good. I thought he'd done the basics extremely well, but to me that doesn't constitute he was amazing. But I love exactly what he brings to the squad and what he's going to bring. And I tweeted this the other day. I actually think he's going to be our best signing. I really do. I just love when I look at this guy. When I look at him and I see him play, he just stability and just like I feel the comfort of him in the midfield. Like nothing's going to go by him. He's going to stick a foot in. Like he does remind me of Alvarez a bit, but way more technical. And I think it says a lot that Barcelona and Xavi really wanted to sign him, but because Xavi left, he didn't want to go. And the fact that Tim convinced him to come to West Ham, I think, is absolutely superb. And I think this is going to be a bold take. I think Rodriguez is going to take Alvarez's spot. I think he is.
I don't hate it.
What you just said about Alvarez, I thought that the other day, funny enough. I think Rodriguez is like the older version of Alvarez. So I think we've got 2 Alvarezes in our side. One's younger, and then obviously Rodriguez is there. And listen, I agree, mate. I think he's a decent player. Like,
and then the fact he's on a free as well, which is a bit crazy. And let's be honest, are we really going to say to a 2-time Copa America and World Cup winner at 30 in his prime? I don't think so.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So where have you put him?
I want to say shrewd signing because of the fee, but I feel like we have too many. We're going to cut this down at the end, but for me, I'd say banging business. But I'm going to keep it in shrewd signing for now.
Right, I'm going to go next. I think it's a brilliant signing. I think when we're getting linked with other players for 25, 30 million who are 33, 34, and then we go and find this geezer out of complete nowhere. Let's be honest, I don't think any West Ham fan said that Rodriguez knew Rodriguez was going to come to West Ham. I think there's definitely a security and stability there with him in the side.
His floor to me is just so high. This is the type of guy I cannot see dropping a stinker at all.
Yeah. And I think if he puts in 7 out of 10 performances and higher, I think we've got a very good player.
There's only one player last time we had that consistently dropped 7 out of 10s every single match, and that was Declan Rice.
Yeah, I know, mate. So I make mine short and sweet. Top player, banging business. Jay, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm going to say this is banging business. I'm not going to repeat the points that have already been made because I 100% agree with all of them. The one thing that I would add is that, and I've said this about a couple of them, is the nature and the way that this deal was done. It was linked, agreed, flying over for medical, done so quickly. And nobody even had the chance to throw the rumours out there. The lads, Super Tim, I mean, give that man the keys to Westfield Stratford immediately because, this, I don't want to see him queuing for Popeyes ever. To get this deal done so quickly was unbelievable business. He was on the verge of joining Barcelona, and he's now a West Ham player. We've seen 45 minutes in pre-season. Don't judge him yet, but the way this was done was incredible for me. So banging business.
Jamie?
Yeah, banging business first and foremost. Lucas, you mentioned something about him doing the basics well is not being that, not being able to quantify a top player on that basis. Some of the best defensive midfielders in the world who have made their names.
Oh, I forgot one thing as well that I wanted to say.
Jump on at the end on the end of this. I think some of the best players of all time that have played in the middle of the park have been players that do the basics well. Mm-hmm. And the reason that Barcelona wanted him is because he's been likened throughout his career to Sergio Busquets.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
What did he do? He did his entire career. He did the basics and he did them very, very well. The guy's a silk man. He's made of silk. He does everything smoothly. I saw him in 45 minutes the other day. He's accomplished. He's the kind of seasoned veteran that you need in your football team that's just going to pick the ball up from the defenders or intercept player, balls that come through the middle of the park and just do what you need to do. It's banging business because it's free, but it's also banging business if we go and sign this player for 20 million or whatever. He's a top player. You look at his stats from last year, he ranked second in the division, for top 1% of La Liga midfielders for ball recoveries. I'll read a few others. He was in the top 4% for dribblers tackled, top 5% for success of those tackles, and in the top 7% for clearances. In other words, if the ball goes through the middle of the park, it's going to end up being Guido Rodriguez's ball sooner rather than later.
There's a roadblock.
I don't think he's a similar player to Alvarez in that regard. I think he has a different profile, and I think they complement each other. Mm-hmm. But whereas I feel like Alvarez is much more of a destroyer and has a little bit more of a forward-thinking kind of aspect to his game where he can take the ball forward a little bit and progress it on. Guido Rodriguez is much more defensively minded, and he will be known for his qualities off the ball rather than necessarily on it. So banging business for me. I think West Ham have got ourselves another top midfielder. We've gone and taken another player from on the brink of signing for a top European side, one of the biggest sides in world football, in Barcelona, and he's chose to come and sign for West Ham. It's a sign of where the club wants to go. Yeah. Banging business.
And one thing for me as well, it is very nice to know that him and Alvarez have played together as well, because I truly think if we were to go up against a Villa, Liverpool, United, Newcastle, whoever, one of the big boys currently, if you stick those two in the midfield, I would be so confident that we would concede no more than a goal. And really that would allow the others to play so freely. And that's really been my big thing this summer, because I know a lot of people have been wanting to play Alvarez and Paqueta together and Kudus in the 10, which I think is a bit scary. I think we'd leak many goals. But when you bring in someone like Guido Rodriguez, who I think could replace Alvarez, but they both could play together and they wouldn't be so stiff. I really do rate that. He brings us such a great option. Go ahead.
I think it brings us balance, mate. The one thing this club lacks over the years, and I think we'd all agree on this, is balance in the side. Like, we're always trying to shoehorn players into positions, and like Summer Soucek in there, a Ward Press, and it just doesn't cut it. But if Rodriguez is in there with Alvarez, you've got two people who are South American. They're going to have no shit. They're up for a row. They're up to have a scrap with another side. And one thing with them two lads, they won't be intimidated by no one. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I think West Ham need. I think West Ham were very soft in the middle of the park over the last few years. Like, we've been a bit soft, and teams have just gone straight through the middle of us. But I think with Rodriguez and Alvarez in there, both kicking into gear and both up for it, I can't believe that signing, if I'm being honest. Like, when I think about it, I think, like, how did we come around getting him? Do you know what I mean?
And Alvarez is already aggressive enough, but I think this does give him more comfortability to keep playing the way he is, because we all know he's going to get suspended due to yellow cards. But Rodriguez, I think, could step in and fill for him and still play similar, if not better, than Alvarez in the 6. But then, again, like I've said 2 or 3 times now, they're able to play together, and that could really help us against the big sides, because I do agree with some people why they would want Alvarez, Kudus, and Paqueta as a midfield 3 against, in my opinion, like the smaller clubs, the ones that we should be banging in the goals. But Guido Rodriguez, it's hard. I think he obviously will start against Villa, because I think Alvarez is still a few weeks out. But, mate, this is the type of guy, if you give him a month, I don't think you're going to drop this guy, and that's going to be even more headaches.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we've got some paracetamol. Right. Now we've come to the end, Lucas.
I think we need to clean this up a little bit. It's looking a bit banging or all right. So I think we need to at least put one in the shrewd. We not necessarily don't have to do it not for me, because I think everyone, it's all right, at least bare minimum. So I think we are going to have to clean this up. Do you guys want to maybe put them in order, leave it as it is, or just try and get a few into shrewd? How do you want to start?
Kilman into shrewd, absolutely.
do it in order, so it's done.
Let's start with all right. So if you had to rank Kilman, Guilherme, Foderingham in order for it's all right, how would you rank them 1, 2, and 3?
I'd leave it as it is.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Guilherme, you can't tell. League One Wes does a job, and we'll see whether he becomes number 2 or get some game time next season. And Kilman, I think, is all right and will move on to be a shrewd signing towards the end of the season. So I think it's in the perfect order, mate. So we didn't make your job of tidying this up any easier.
Let's leave the all right for last in terms of sorting the categories, but let's go to banging business. Fever, how would you order this in your opinion? It doesn't have to be long. Off the top.
Right. For me personally, I think if I'm going on value, I'm going to go.
Don't go off value. Do what you want. What you want.
Right. What I want. I'm going to say Wan-Bissaka first. I will go Rodriguez second. And basically, how that is left is how it should be.
Jamie, how would you do it?
I would go Wan-Bissaka, Füllkrug,
Love it.
Todibo, Guido Rodriguez, and I would put Somerville down to shrewd signing.
Jay, what are you saying?
I would have Todibo first, Wan-Bissaka a very close second, Rodriguez third, Füllkrug fourth, Somerville fifth.
Ooh.
If I was doing banging business, I think I'd do Guido 1 because he's a free and just the pedigree he offers. Then I'd probably do Todibo second. Oh, Wan-Bissaka 3. I think it'd be like that. And I would personally move Füllkrug, Jamie, I'm sorry, to shrewd signing. But he's on the fence for me.
No problem.
So you know what I think? I think we're gonna have to slide him down here. We need one.
Jamie's seething. He's seething.
We need one.
Guys, let's do this again at the end of the season, okay?
For me, it's either Wan-Bissaka or Füllkrug. Someone has to be sacrificed. But I think that looks good. I mean, me personally, to be controversial, I would put League One West and not for me. But again, I'm trying to keep things positive. I want to be I want to be a happy hammer. I want to be.
Guido Rodriguez #1 is a big bold shout, I would say. But okay, I'll let you have it.
Here for the screenshots. 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Füllkrug, banging business. Everyone take the screenshots.
Okay.
Yeah. Jamie, would you not say though that with Rodriguez as a banging business, considering he's a free signing and the overall potential of the geezer, like you just said previous, like he could went to Barcelona. Would you say that out of all of them, like forget the money side of it, but as in value, he's for nothing. He's like a bargain, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. No, again, it's a top signing. It's a player that a top side wanted. So he has the fact that we've taken him, and I think, like I said at the start of the show, I think when you look at the transfer window as a whole, and you look at the mixture of pedigree, proven talent, developing talent, potential talent, I think it all makes sense. So 10 out of 10 window so far.
I have one last question for everyone, just a nice little fun question. Your favorite signing so far? You can only pick one.
I'll go.
For me, I'd go Somerville. That's my favorite.
I am going to say, for me, I like Somerville. Don't get me wrong, but I think Wan-Bissaka is a great signing. I really do. Like, I am going to back him up because I think he's just an excellent player. Yeah, I just think he's an excellent player. I think. Well, I don't think people realise.
Is he your new Ben Rama?
No. Let's hope fucking not. Let's do it like that. You know what I mean? So don't play like Ben Rama, right? But yeah, Wan-Bissaka for me. Jamie, what are you saying?
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, no Füllkrug.
No, he's second. I said that. Guys, Wan-Bissaka #1, Füllkrug second.
I'll give you this. One thing I do love about Füllkrug, I've always wanted a striker that just looks like a construction worker. That's what I've always wanted. He just looks like the modern man, and I respect that.
He's an absolute shithouse. Right? He's not only is he a top striker, he's the kind of striker that West Ham fans are going to love.
We've had too many good-looking ones as well. I think that plays against us.
Yeah, listen, he looks like he's had a fight in Romford on Friday night.
I'll tell you what, he won't have a punch up at the Popeyes anymore in Romford. I'm disappointed to see it go.
I know, mate. Jay, what are you saying? Best sign?
For me, my favorite is I'm gonna say Todibo, because the 24 hours when the hijack happened was the best 24 hours probably of my life so far, and the jet pick hit like crack. So I'm going to just
our kids about this.
Yeah, purely for that day. You'll be sitting around with your grandkids one day and be going, "Oh, I remember where I was when Fabrizio tweeted that we were hijacking Todibo from Juventus." Like, just the nature of that signing. Like, I think, James, you've been saying for a while, we're acting like a big club now. Like, and that proves we were patient, we were professional, and we struck at the right time. And I just imagine that Todibo was stood on the runway and the jet door opened with this plume of smoke and Tim's silhouette was there. And he just walked down the stairs and him and Todibo embraced lovingly.
The opposite of the way a Ryanair flight would.
Yeah, exactly. Literally imagine the complete opposite of a Ryanair flight. And this is going to be an unbelievable signing. And in 2 years, he'll like be worth triple what we paid for him. Like, he's an unbelievable player.
Right. Tim Steiden, in one word. Jamie, go.
Oh, can I do a hyphenated word?
Yeah, go
on. Knightworthy. Give the man a knighthood worthy, I should say.
Knighthood worthy. Jay Steiden.
Himothy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you beat me.
Lucas.
Mine's gonna be. I'm gonna shithouse this one, but in the southern states, or kind of where I am, we do like to put like 3 or 4 words into one. I'm gonna pull a Roy Keane and say, "It's his job."
Fair enough. I'm gonna say efficient. I think he's German efficiency. That geezer. He knows what he's doing. Gentlemen, we've come towards the end. I really do appreciate both of you lads coming on tonight on here. Do you know what I mean? I will say that. Jamie, shout out everywhere where they can find you, TikTok, all your socials, man.
Yeah, Jamie Talks on all socials. Jamie Talks Football on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for having me, mate. I really appreciate it.
No worries, mate. You're always welcome on here. Jay, same to you.
Yeah, pleasure as always. Good to be back at JDogWHU on Twitter is where you can find me. But yeah, thanks for having me again.
No worries at all.
Do not find me on Twitter. Leave me alone.
Leave him alone, the pearl diver. Listen, as us done, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, and hit that notification bell. Wan-Bissaka is on his way. Will there be any more before Villa? Let's hope so. It's been very, very good, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to this new era at West Ham. But from me to you, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.